Hi, this is David at Hyder Camper Vans and welcome to the handover video of this Globecar GlobeScout. I'm going to take you around the vehicle, show you some of the functions and controls, hopefully get you all set and ready for your first adventure out. What I do recommend is that you maybe save this video, bookmark it for later for great reference out in the field. Enjoy. Location of bonnet latch. If you open the passenger's door, you'll find the bonnet latch located with this lever just here. Give the lever a wee pull and that will then release the bonnet. So if we come round to the bonnet, the bonnet latch is normally located just under the bonnet lip in line with the badge. Give it a little put up like so. And then you have your bonnet stay just here. And that locates to the red little plunger just there. Under the bonnet, you have tucked over in the corner, screen wash, coolant, brake reservoir, and then you have your oil fill reservoir as well. In the event of the vehicle being laid up for a period of time, maybe after a winter layover, you may need to jump start the vehicle to get it going. If that's the case, this here is the negative terminal, and located right down at the bottom there is the positive terminal for connecting to the battery, and that is under the bonnet. So located down the passenger side of the vehicle, you're going to find the access hatch for your chemical toilet. You will need to unlock it first before taking the toilet out. And it's just a case of pushing the buttons, lifting the flap up, and then retracting the toilet by using the yellow tag. Pull your toilet out, and then to empty the toilet, take the cap off the top here, and then when you reach your drop-off point, tip, hold the pressure button and empty out the toilet. Once you come to clean the toilet, what you want to do is run some water in, give it a flush, give it a good swirl, empty it out about 2 times, and then when you're ready for your chemical, fill it up to about 1 litre of water, to about this mark here. Add either your chosen chemical. Your cap incidentally will act as a measuring cap, or if you're using pods, just drop the pod straight in. Then it's a case of putting the nozzle back into place and then sliding the cassette back in until you hear it click. Like so. Now, wee tip is in the toilet itself there is a little action flap which you'll see in the latter part of this video. If that toilet flap isn't closed, this cassette won't retract. So if the cassette won't come out, just double check the toilet, and that is your chemical toilet. So located down the driver's side of the vehicle at the very back, you're going to find this little cap here. This cap is the water fill entry for your fresh tank. It's a case of use your key, unlock it first, turn the cap and remove it, and then just a case of inserting your water line. Run the water until the water comes out the top here. That will let you know the van is full. What to do, double check, is make sure that you have closed the valve on the inside and that the boiler valve is also closed. If you hear running water into the van, it's probably the case that one of these 2 valves is still open and allow water to fall through the van. So check those and then continue filling. Once you're done, put the cap back in like a petrol cap, just turn it until it clicks, and then don't forget to lock it for safety, and that is the water fill. On the passenger side of the van, you're going to see these 2 items here. So this one just here, just for your reference, is the exhaust port for the boiler. So when the boiler's running, you may hear a hum. On a cold day, you may see a little bit of smoke ventilate. That is quite normal behaviour. A little bit further down, just above the rear wheel, you have this little flap here, and this is your hookup cable point for your van. Now, hookup is very, very simple. There's a simple rule to follow, and that is don't travel with a live cable. What you want to do is when you're ready to hook up on campsite is you plug your cable in here first, and then you go and plug the van in at the electrical point. Always do double check to make sure that the trip switch is working correctly. And then when it comes to unplugging the van, you do that in reverse. You unplug from your connection point and then finally disconnect from the van itself. Don't forget to make sure the flap is firmly pushed down before you travel. The flap can easily come up with the wind and you'll see it in your rear view mirror. So that is your electrical hookup and your boiler exhaust. So located in the very back of the van on the driver's side, you are going to see under the bed this access panel. This access panel here allows you to access the fresh water tank to do one of 2 things. You can either drain the tank down to a travel mode where there's only a couple of litres left in the tank, great for MPG if you're doing a long travel, and the secondary open mode to allow the tank to completely drain as part of a routine cleaning or winter drain down. So how do you do that? Lift the flap off, remove the cover, and inside you will see this access port here. This allows you to actually get access to the actual main water tank if you want to put in a cleaning chemical. And then further to the side, you're going to see this little one just here. Now, this has two turn modes. If you turn it just a quarter of a turn, the water will start draining from the tank and will eventually stop about this point down here. This is your travel mode. If you then turn the valve a second time round to a 3/4 position, the tank will then fully drain. So again, that's part of your cleaning or for your winter drain down. Now, when you come to reuse the van, don't forget to close the stopcock back off again, or as you add water through to the side of the fill of the van, the water's just going to drain straight through to the bottom of the vehicle. And then once you're all done, don't forget to replace your flap cover, and then you can put the bed back area over the top. And that there is the freshwater tank. So located in the back of the van on the passenger side, you're going to see this little access locker. So we open the locker with the buttons, and hiding inside here is your gas bottle. There is room for a secondary bottle if you so wish to add one. And then on top of the bottle, you would have your gas regulator flow. Further into the garage area of the van, down on the passenger side, you're going to see these 3 isolator taps. Now, these are designed to isolate the certain gas circuits inside the van. So you would have this one at the top here, which is your hot water system. Then you have your boiler system, and then you have your cooker system just here. If you are traveling, it is recommended to close the taps like so, just for gas safety. You will need to do this if you're using ferries or if you're using the train to cross the continent. They will expect you to make sure they're shut off. And then when you need to activate the gas again, it's just a case of turning the taps on like so, and that allows the flow through of gas. If for any reason you're in the van and you're not getting a gas supply to the boiler or to the cooker, I would definitely check that you've opened the gas bottle, and also make sure that these gas taps are in this position to allow the gas to flow through to the devices. And that is the gas isolation. Located just below the gas isolation taps and inside this little alcove in the garage, you're going to see this little device. Now, this is your frost protection valve. Now, its job is to protect the boiler in the event of frost weather. So what would happen is if it went extremely cold, this system here would trigger like so, and then it allows water to drain through to the floor. This empties the boiler to make sure that the boiler is protected. Now, as part of your winter drain down, you do obviously need to drain the water out of the boiler as well as your fresh tank. So it's just a case, as you've seen there, you rotate this into the crossways position. This little tap will ping out here, and you'll hear the water flow. If you're not sure if the tap is shut or closed, the easiest way to tell is run your finger across the top. If you can feel the little grey plug, then the tap is open, like so. There's the little grey plug. If you can't feel the little grey plug, then the tap is closed and it is allowing water to flow through to the boiler. And that is your frost protection valve. So located under the bed on the passenger side of the vehicle, you'll find this access panel. Now, this gives you access to the top side of the boiler, but most importantly, it gives you access to the RDC control board, which is this down here. This allows you to check if there's any circuits which have been disabled, which needs reinstating, or if you decided that you're winterizing the van and maybe put into storage and you want to completely turn the electric system off. Now, don't forget, when you are on electrical hookup, do test the trip switch on the hookup point that you are connected to. Don't leave the van as the last line of defense. You want to make sure that your electrical hookup point is doing that job for you. There is a couple of labels down here just to let you know which each circuit is doing what. And then once you're done, you can then return the cover back on top and then put the bed back on top of the cover unit itself. And that is your fuse board. So inside the van, above the main entry door, you're going to find this silver panel. This silver panel is your habitation control panel, and it's a very simple system to use. This just here will indicate whether you are on the 12 volts or not. If you're electrically hooked up, this here will light up orange to let you know or you are on a main supply. This lets you tell the battery voltage. So this is vehicle battery, leisure battery and vehicle battery. And you just press the toggle to the corresponding way you want to check the battery levels. This one is wastewater and freshwater. Likewise, hold the toggle down towards the device you want to check to see what the levels are themselves. And that is the habitation control panel. Very simple setup. Next door to it is the control system for the boiler and the heating. Now this is detailed in your owner's book, but I'll give you an overview here just now. This here is the energy source for your system. So it starts with a toggle. This would be on 1800 watt electric hookup, 900 watt electric hookup, gas only, gas mix 1 with electrical hookup, and gas mix with electrical 2 hookup. When the system is hooked in on the 230, this here will light up for you. On this side here is how you would select the various different items in the van, the boiler and the hot water. It's split into 2 modes. You have summer and you have winter. The first 2 at the top here, the 60 and the 40, are the summer mode. These only turn on hot water either at 60 degrees or at 40 degrees. Okay. Button in the middle will turn the system off. Below this, this is heating and heating with water. So if you want to put the heat in the van, it's the bottom options you need to select. So this first one here will be heating, but no hot water. And you control the level of the heating by using this rotary dial here, like so, to how warm you want the van to be. If you want the heating and hot water, it's the lower option just there. And that will put the hot water and the heating on at the same time for you. So just to recap, hot water only, 40 degrees, 60 degrees. Heater only, select the flame symbol, pick the temperature. Hot water and heating is the bottom one with the flame at the 60 degrees. And again, you pick your heat temperature here and the hot water is set to 60 degrees. On the side here, again, as I said, is the energy control. Incidentally, when you are heating the vehicle up, okay, you may sometimes see a little yellow symbol appear on this side here, just to let you know, it's just there, just to let you know that the boiler is heating. Okay, you'll know the room heater is working because you'll hear noise coming from the vents and you'll start to feel the heat come from the vents. And that is the hub control panel, your energy source selector, and boiler management. So moving on to the sink, open the cover like so. And then when you're ready, deploy the tap, turn the spout over to the sink. And then when you're ready, open the tap up. And then you can set hot water if you've got hot water on by turning it to the side, or if it's just cold, to the other way like so. And then once you're done, close the tap back down and then slide these across to close the lid back down. What I would say is when you are traveling, I would recommend that you pop the plug into the hole in the sink. That will just stop any foul odors maybe coming up from the waste tank while you're traveling. And that is the sink. So moving over to the side, we have the gas rings. This is fairly straightforward. You will need to make sure that you have some sort of ignition. So either a gas lighter or a set of matches. And then what you need to do is just select which ring you're using. So this one is for the left ring. This one is for the right ring. It's a case of push the button down, turn to get the gas, ignite the gas, and then you can then start cooking. Don't forget that when you're finished, to make sure the gas system is switched off. A good tip is just to have a quick listen to make sure that the gas is fully off. And then once you're done, close the panel down. Make sure the rings have gone cold for a good 5 to 10 minutes before closing the ring cover down. Otherwise, you could cause damage to the glass. And that is the gas and sink. Next, we're going to have a wee look at the fridge controls. So on the fridge, you have this little device here, which is your travel safety lock. So to activate the safety lock, push the button down, and this will prevent the fridge door from opening when you're traveling about. To release the lock, squeeze the green trigger, and that will release the lock. Next, you've got energy source. So this lets you indicate to the fridge how you're powering it. So first here would be electrical hookup, running on 12 volt for the vehicle battery. So if you're traveling along, you want this mode and the fridge will operate when the vehicle is driving. And finally, off grid is gas mode. So you just basically rotate this to select what energy source you are looking to use at that particular point. Over here, this here is the fridge temperature. So all the way around to the right here, we'll put the fridge at maximum low temperature, and then you can adjust it like so to cool it down. And then this here is the gas igniter and gas igniter indicator. So to ignite the fridge on the gas, you will need to make sure that this is selected into gas mode. And then it's a case of wind this all the way around to maximum, hold this button down, press the clicker, until you see the little indicator move. I'll try to do this one-handed. So yes, you would just hold that down until this little needle moves, and that then will ignite the fridge. And then that is you. Moving on to the bathroom and your Thetford toilet. So on the toilet itself, you have the flush button, and then you have the indicator if the unit is full. So to use the toilet, you will obviously need to lift the lid. Before you go any further, you need to open this flap. And to do that, there's a handle hiding down the side here. Oh, there you go. And that opens a flap ready for the toilet to be used. Once you've done, you'll obviously want to flush the toilet by pressing the little blue button just here. That will action the flush. A couple of seconds to push any waste through. And then once you're finished, don't forget to shut the flap just to avoid any unpleasant odours coming back out of your toilet waste tank. Close the lid, and that is your toilet. Moving on to the primary driving controls of your van. So you have your dashboard display. The indicator dial on the left is your speedometer. Then you have the fuel gauge, then a water temperature, and then finally your rev counter on the right hand side. On the stalks themselves, left hand stalk will have your indicators, so they are up and down. You have your lights here, which you rotate to turn the lights on and off, and then your beam is away from you and then away from you to bring them back on again. On the opposite side, you will have the wiper controls. So they are up and down for the various controls. So mist, wiper, then down for the various different programs. This little control device just here allows you to change the speed of the intermittent wiper. Wash wiper is just towards you to wash the windows. On the center of the steering wheel is the horn itself. Other auxiliary controls in the vehicle, you would have your radio display, radio interfaces here, and then you have your temperature. So this is your fan speed, which is this one here, and then your fan temperature, and then you have your airflow, so that's circulator on, circulator off, and then this is where the air is flowing through the vehicle, and then your air conditioning button just here. Lower down, you have a central lock-in, your hazard warning light, and ASR is anti-skid regulator, and that is basically your traction control system. If you're on a bit of wet grass, you might want to let the wheel slip a little bit to try and get some traction. You may want to turn that off. And then over here, we have a 12-volt socket and a secondary one just on the side there as well. And that is your driver controls. So actioning the side blinds and the cab blinds in the vehicle themselves is very straightforward. You want to unlock and locate this little device here. Inside the finger holes there's a little squeeze trigger which releases the unit. So you give it a squeeze and then just slowly work the blind out across until it magnetically clicks to the other side. And then you can do the same with the blinds across the front of the cab and on the opposite side of the vehicle as well. And that there is your cab lines. To retract them, just again reverse the process, just be nice and gentle, take your time, and just make sure you help the blind across. And once you're done, make sure it locks firmly into position, because you don't want this coming across when you're driving. And there you go. So there we are. I hope you found this handover video useful and lets you get to grips with the control functions of your Globecar GlobeScout. But as I said to you at the very start of the video, I would definitely recommend that you bookmark the video for future reference when you're out and around. All that's left for me to say is enjoy your adventures, and we hope to see you again sometime soon. Thanks for watching.